Awesome. Well, hey, thanks everyone for checking this out. I'm Tim with Momentum Mindset, and I'm here with Luca. Luca, thank you so much for taking the time out to join me today.
Thank you, Tim, to having me.
Yeah, I'm
And
super excited.
me too. First time probably doing something like this. I think I did something similar, but not a podcast like this, not a video.
Yeah, so it'll be this is only my third time too, so we're both new to it. So I'm excited to kind of dive into everything fitness, both mentally and physically. I like to not only dig into what got us going, but what keeps us going and what the purpose of even being involved in fitness is all about. So, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, where we can find you, um, and then what initially got you engaged in fitness in general?
All right. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's always nice to have this kind of conversation with people that is in the same field and even in different fields. But my name is Luca. Grigoletto is the last name, which is the reason why I fit Grigo. I think it's the first time that I say it. Nobody knows what this Grigo stands for, but it's part of my last name. They give you a nickname when you're in high school, and Grigo was mine because it was too long. So fit Grigo. I'm from Italy originally, so if you guys hear someone, for those of you that look at the video and that hear some crazy pronunciation or a weird accent, that's the reason why. And if I miss some word, you guys will be fine, no? We'll make it will be fun. And I live now in US because of my wife, and my fitness journey started. Well, I've been in sport all my life. Like growing up, I did combat sport, I did soccer. Because of course in Italy that's what we use. Never being a big fan of soccer, but and then high school, I left all the sports because, of course, I was more interested in girls, in party, and in other things. And I randomly went back to sport when I started to work. It was a way to decompress from work. But what got me into fitness, it was actually in a certain moment of my life, someone that was working with me drop in pounds will be like something like 25 pounds in a really short period of time. And we were working together. I was working out and then wasn't having the results that I wanted to. And so I asked him what he was doing, and he introduced me to coaching and to the fitness more related to a business that he was doing. And that's what really got me into fitness. So it was more because I was interested in what in the business that this guy was doing, coaching
Interesting.
others with his results. That's what it got me to stick to then to a routine, and and got to the point where I am today. Because before it was in and out of sports, in and out of routines, in and out of fitness. It wasn't something I was doing on a regular basis.
How that's such an interesting way to get involved, and I think that speaks volumes to how much fitness and discipline correlate with the rest of our lives. Because sometimes people will get involved in fitness, or maybe that's just something they grew up with and they're already on a routine, and then they find themselves being able to adapt and utilize that in other fields of their life, whether it's work or family. So it's interesting to hear that you kind of had it the other way around. You were interested in the business side, you were interested in how that works, and then it translated into not only the business that you're in, but being more disciplined and being more up to speed with your fitness.
Yes, I took it the other route. So basically,
Yeah.
I saw him having results, and he told me about the fact that he had a coach that helped him getting the results. And he said, and this guy is making good money, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. And we were working together. So my background is in hospitality, completely different world. I was managing hotels. And I don't know, maybe someone that will see this video will will connect, because I'm always being feeling that I was meant to do something more. Nothing against, the 9 to 5, but it wasn't something for me. I needed to, do my own thing. Had I needed to find a purpose or something, and I wasn't finding myself fulfilled in that kind of job. It was good money, it was good lifestyle, but it wasn't enough. It was something. There was something that would say you're not born for this. You're not born to pay bills and that's it, or to go,
Yeah.
to make money and go drunk on the weekend. There's something more for you. And when I heard that, I could have impact others by coaching, I was so interested in the coaching side that's what uh, brought me to then say, okay, if I need to coach others, I need to be first, someone that knows stuff. And that's what translated, into the interest of for fitness and for the healthy and active lifestyle. It's
Well, that's a
been,
perfect kind of mirroring of some of the skill sets you have. As you said, you were in hospitality. I can tell.
oh yeah.
You're very charismatic, and I love your energy. So being able to take that and incorporate it into fitness must have been a kind of the perfect meshing. And the fact that you're able to help people is just kind of the icing on the cake. I know it was similar for me. I'm very interested in comedy and hospitality and all that. So when I got involved in fitness, being able to present in a way that connected with people really scratched a few different itches because I was able to then in turn be creative and do what I love as far as video editing and trying to make jokes, but also share my journey. So it sounds like when you can kind of bring certain aspects of your life together, it really can, highlight both endeavors.
Yes, for sure. I'm not shy. I mean, that those 7, 8 years that I spent, in hospitality, it's always been my character, but it made me more for sure confident. Answering the phone, speaking with people all day long. You can't escape. You're behind a bar, like behind a desk, and people come to you. And I'm from Venice, Italy, so it's a city that has a lot of different culture coming in, and so you
Right.
are dealing with different situations all day long, and that for sure helped me, like to, I think, understand people are really taking notes, on some similarity and some patterns that repeat every time I speak with someone.
Definitely. When you started to transition from the hospitality full time into fitness, what were some of the fears you had making the transition and the jump? Or was there something that forced you? Or did you take the leap on your own? And when you did you notice any of the fitness aspects highlighting or bettering the other aspects of your life outside of even sharing and coaching?
So uh, I've been really unhealthy in my life. We'll probably talk about this maybe in the DMs. So while I was in hospitality, I had what from outside you would see, a successful person. In the inside, I was dying, like, which is what I think it really pushed me, because yes, I had this thing, that I wanted to be fulfilled, but uh, I was going through a lot, like I was trying to, and I don't want to go I don't need to go in details, but I was addicted. Like there was a lot of things, that I was doing, even if I was a professional and even if my career was going that great and everything looked from the exterior, everything was looking fine. I was going through a lot. I was trying always to cancel the noise that I had to do more in life. I was trying to, okay, I want to be like everybody else. Let me drink, let me smoke, let me do this, let me do that, so that I can forget all the other thoughts that I had. So
Numbing in a
for me,
way.
right, for me, when I found, that I could coach someone, and like, first of all, of course, I had to act on myself. So, a lot of things, it's being a drastic change for me. It's not being, like a transition a little bit. I say, okay, from now on, I have a completely different identity. I'm a completely different person. I'm no more the Luca the party guy. I'm Luca the fitness guy. So when I did that, I think that that helped me a lot in the transition, even between the two jobs, because I am a dreamer. 100%. So when I saw
Yeah.
that, no, it didn't took. I never had the fear. Oh, can I do this? I have enough money in the bank, to sustain myself. As I went like 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet or 2 foot, 2 feet in, like I jumped
Yes.
like crazy, and everybody around was, what is this guy doing? But I've always been like this in a lot of things. It takes me 2 seconds to take a decision. I'm crazy. I mean, I live in US and I was living in Italy, and one day I took and I came here. So like it's my way to process things. When I'm ready, I'm ready. And so, but then of course, like like starting to taking care of myself, and in the beginning was um more the nutrition, because I always did sport. The difference was that I never understood, oh, better. In my opinion, there's a lack in society in Europe for sure. I think even here in US, there's there are a lot of information, but there's, in school, in the families, there's not someone, if you're not like lucky enough to have, your parents that are in nutrition or something, there's a lack in understanding the nutrition side. So you eat whatever, it runs in the family. So, you saw your uncle doing that, you do that. Your parents eat that, so you eat that. And so, and in sport as well, the one that is coaching you the sport, you need to be really lucky to find a coach that tells you to take care of your nutrition too. That's something that, in my opinion, is really like there's a gap there, right? So I was working out like crazy, but the 70, 80, whatever percentage you want to give to
Mm-hmm.
nutrition, I wasn't doing it at all. Again, I told you, like, I was not sleeping, I was drinking, I was eating poorly because, of course, the munchies and stuff. Like, so when I switch and I shift my mentality and I shift my identity, everything became different, because the first few months I was doing coaching, and I was also managing hotels, and I saw in my focus, in my attention in work, in the time that I was, how much time it was taking me to answer to an email, like simple things, my relationship with the customer. I had a lot more energy. I was smiling more. So I saw a completely transition between doing, taking care of sports and nutrition, from when before I was only doing one side, and I wasn't putting in my body the right nutrition, and I wasn't sleeping 7, 8 hours at night.
Exactly. Well, I
So
think
it's
you
been
just hit
huge.
on three huge aspects. One being just the lack of information, right? Or certain information being put on a
Confusion.
pedestal. Exactly. How are you supposed to sift through all of the madness? And I think that's why pages like yours and what I'm at least trying to do are so important to try and kind of cut through all of the nonsense, right? Because you're right. The nutrition is just as important, and rest is just as important. There's so many other things outside of just pushing yourself in the gym. And you can get kind of caught up in that mindset. The second thing that you brought up being you get caught up in a certain lifestyle, and we can present as happy and as energetic as you can possibly be, but if you're not right internally, it's going to seep out one way or another. And I can so relate to what you said, and I'm glad you said that and were vulnerable enough to be honest about that, because I was in a similar place, right? Very, very outgoing, very extroverted, and I love meeting people and got along with people and always had a good time. But at the end of the day, you're gonna struggle, and the it seems counterintuitive, but the lack of energy, the ineptitude or not wanting to kind of go out and socialize feels like, well, I can't do that. I'm so exhausted, so I don't have time to work out. I can't work out. But in all actuality, if you do take time to exercise and prioritize your nutrition, all those other things will kind of come together. And then if you're okay, all those other wonderful facets that we just talked about, whether it's your ability to talk to people, interact with customers, so on and so forth, is that much more elevated. And then the third thing that you said that really hit home for me, and I want anyone watching to really take this part, and Luca, you nailed it, was when you said, I was no longer the party guy, I was Luca, the coach, right? You identified yourself as that. And even if it's not true in the beginning, you believed it. You have to take a stance. You have to identify yourself as that person, whether it's fitness or you're going to quit smoking. It's not, I'm quitting smoking. It's, I'm Tim and I'm not a smoker, right? It's, I'm Tim who enjoys fitness. Maybe I don't right away. I'm just getting started. But by doing that, you're training your mind, you're rewiring your mindset to then put in those habits. So all of the effort that you're kind of putting in up front starts to become second nature because you're developing the habit. So it's one thing to, get motivated and go after it and do it. But when you really start to retrain yourself and do everything you just said, take the dive, really delve into the nutrition, the sleep, the rest and recovery, and then identifying yourself as what you want to be is just paramount. So I applaud you for nailing
Uh,
that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
The smoking part, like I'm a lot into personal growth. So the other day we were listening to Tony Robbins, I think it was, and it was talking about a smoker. If I offer, like, I was a smoker once, right? And if they offer me cigarettes now, it's not that I ask them which brand it is, or, well, let me see. It's a no. It's a straight no, because I'm not a smoker, as you were saying. So
Right.
that like, if I identify myself as an athlete, everything comes easier to do to you to follow the lifestyle of the athlete. And the same thing, is when I say, oh, I'm lazy, and I'm telling myself that I'm lazy, and I'm telling myself that I'm lazy, well, then you are lazy.
You start to believe it.
That's what happens to your brain. You're telling your brain that you're lazy, you will be lazy. So for me, it was to change all these kind of things. I've been lucky enough that, again, I started from the coaching side. So uh, I had someone that mentored me through this, and he said the first thing to fix is not your diet, is not your workout, is your mindset. You need to change your mindset, and from there on, if you want to come to, because I said, how do I get to a level where you are? Because this guy was successful, and I wanted to be like him. I say, like, the first thing is you need to change the way that you're looking at things. Is not how much work you're gonna put in. Is not how much effort you want to put in. Yes, that comes after. It's not even the discipline, because you can't have the discipline as long as you're not in the right mindset. So the first thing that we need to change is that, and that everything else will come. Because what other people maybe call discipline, for me is just normal. Like, it's something that, it's just who I am. It's not even what I do, it's who I am. And so everything becomes easier.
Yeah, and that you pretty much encompassed it really well in that it becomes who you are, it becomes an identity. So, and granted, that's on a foundation that you've built up and changed those mindsets. So, having said that, what were some of the hardest mindsets to enact or to take on when you started to make that shift from where you were to who you've become?
Hmm. Uh,
On the spot.
so no, no, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm thinking, it's not a 3-day process or a 30 days process. It's 8 years for me. It's the last 8 years that I'm working on this, and I'm still a work in progress, right? So,
Very
you
good
know,
point.
someone told me once, for me, it was always day one in anything in life. Probably the career was the first thing that was lasting a little bit longer, but relationships, sports, commitment in anything, I've always been a day one guy. Day one. and then they won, and then they won, and then they won. And it's great, if you don't want to go anywhere, you just do the first step and the first step and the first step, but it's always the first step. So for me, the biggest thing, it was start to commit to something, and having plans for a long enough period of time where I can see results, and then in case change it, because of course, maybe it's not bringing where you are, but staying in a lane for a certain amount of time. That was for me the most difficult part, because I've always thought that like one of my biggest value is freedom. So I wanted to be free, always be a rebel, wanted to be free. I wanted to be. And for many, many years, I thought that free was lack of rules, So if I do what I want, that's what I thought it was freedom for me. And then someone, again, it's being a process, not being one day, but someone came up with this and said, you're actually, when you have a lot of rules, you're actually becoming free because you don't have to think too much. So you can concentrate that freedom on the things that matter to you. It's having rules that make you free. It's not having rules that make you free. And it took me a while, in the beginning I didn't want to accept it, but those kind of mindset shifts is what helped me to start, actually becoming a really fan of routines. Now I'm laughing because I can see through the sofa, through the living room, my wife, and I have so many routines right now, and I get so pissed off. I don't know if I can say it, but in case you will be the beep. If someone change it, like I am so crazy that I have everything in my calendar, and let's say that we have this conversation and this conversation get canceled, I will stay like this watching the wall. Now I'm exaggerating, but I'm
Had this
saying that
planned.
nothing needs to. Yeah, yes, absolutely. I had this plan. This plan needs to work, and of course we need to be flexible, but the routine for me is something so important. It's what really allow me to feel free in the moment where I have nothing in my calendar. Even when I have nothing in my calendar, it becomes I do nothing for 3 hours. So I stay with my family for 5 hours. It becomes a block so that I don't need to think, oh, do I have something else? No, it's like this.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you have a sense of accomplishment once you move past one of the things on your list. Which, as you said, having nothing, you think it's freeing, but it's a little chaotic. And then what do I do? And when do I do this? And stuff's going to start intermingling and intertwining and getting in the way of each other. So by having a routine, not only are you able to accomplish more because you've allotted the time for it. I used to live the same way where I'd fly by the seat of my pants and say yes to so many things that they start overlapping and I'm not allowing for time or missing things. So by having a routine and blocking off time, I agree. I've found so much more freedom because I know when my time is scheduled, what I have available, and what I can push or what I can say no to. Because saying no is equally as tough as saying yes. So to your point, though, I think by not only scheduling your time to allot for that, you feel accomplished, right? Because even if it's just, hey, I got to make a call to set up this for later, boom, it's checked off. It's not ruminating in your head and taking up more bandwidth than you actually need.
And also, I've been in a situation. I've been in period of my life. I've been to the beach and I was thinking about work, or I've been at work and I was thinking, to be on the mountains, and I was on the mountains. I was thinking about something else. And I think it's Jim Rohn that says something about it. And I figured it out that if I was to be present in the moment, um, like to be in a place and be with my mind somewhere else is like not to be there, right? So now I can schedule one thing. I know that I'm doing this, and nothing else get involved. I'm with some friends. I'm not thinking about work. I'm at work. I'm doing something. I'm not thinking, about something else, and that allows. I'm at the gym now. This is a little bit different because I need still to do the video sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but sometimes I go to the gym to record content. Sometimes I go to the gym to work out. Today I went 2 hours with nobody, just the headphones. I don't have anything to put out in the content, but it's fine because I'm focused 100% on what I'm doing. And sometimes we are checking the message, doing this, doing that. I'm sure that happens to everybody. And at the end you say, did I even work out? Did
Right.
I even do? Did I even did I even go for? Because for me, it's being taking care of my body is also part of my results in the business. Because the more I am in shape, the more I can do things, but also the more I am attracting, the right energy and the right clients.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important too. I mean, even scheduling when you're going to record and stuff in the gym, because there's nothing worse than, as you said, going in and like, did I even get a workout in? Did I even do anything? So having a plan, even in that regard, is super helpful. But again, I think that kind of just goes back to a lot of the lack of information that a lot of people uh, get, at least from a lot of the fitness industry. I think the hardest thing for a lot of people is getting started, right? Because once you're in the routine, we're talking about all these mindset shifts that are important, um, but it can seem so overwhelming. And I think part of that, at least from what I've seen in my own experiences, is that it seems like you have to be all or nothing. You see these, hey, get this exercise routine where you do 5 pull-ups and this, and people are like, I can hardly stand up out of the seat, let alone do a pull-up. So it can seem overwhelming, and cut all of this out of your diet. And again, that can seem overwhelming. So what I try and tell people as often as I can is just start with something. Something is better than nothing, because you can always build on that and grow from there. But so many people I've spoken to recently, that are wanting to begin exercising and have reached out and said, "Man, I'm really liking the content you're putting out, and it's gotten me motivated to go, but I'm just afraid of going to the gym, um, where I'll get made fun of or I won't know what to do." And again, like, it doesn't have to be complex, right? We can do some body weight squats, some push-ups. Knowing what to eat, it's not like you have to count all your macros. You can get there, but maybe just prioritize protein, cut back a little bit on the sugar. The more you do, at least by getting started, the better you'll feel, and then be in turn motivated to do more, to expound on that, to grow your knowledge and reach new heights. But by jumping in head first, I think it can be overwhelming for a lot of people. Would you say you see that with some of your clients? And what's one of the
Yeah. So
first steps you give them?
So my experience, okay, and then because there's the 5% and the 95%, right? And I think you're right. For the 95% of people, my experience is when I got into fitness because I really wanted to get in shape to show and then to become a coach. The first thing that happened is that, like many people probably, you don't for sure for men's, you don't ask to anybody, say what I do. And for me, working 12 hours a day, in my career, I needed to find something that I could have done any moment of the day, right? So
Right.
the easiest for me was to go for a run. But because of my addictive personality, I didn't went for a run for 5 minutes. So the first thing is that in 1 week I prepared my first half marathon, right? Sorry, in 5 days, not in 5 weeks. In 5 days, I said I went from zero to run my first half marathon. And so can you imagine my legs the day after?
Yeah.
I was pretty fit, but I remember I asked the coach, saying, "What do I have to do?" Well, you have no time to improve. So you need to go run 20 kilometers, which is like, I don't know, 12, 14 miles. You need to go 14 miles, 14 miles, 14 miles, 14 miles. So my personality is that I need to jump into something to be able, to give me basically a kick in my butt and do more, right? But for 90% of the people, I think they need, human being needs to be told what to do. We grew up, in a school. I don't know how here in the US, but in Italy, ring the bell. You go in, ring the bell, you come out, you have, so we got told from early age that that's what we are supposed to do. No, they tell us what to study, what to do, where to go. So we have this imprinting, and it's really hard to change it. Which is why most of the people are employee and not entrepreneur. And that kind of mentality sometimes if you like. So I have a coaching business, right? So what we do is we provide a all-in-one solution for people that want to start to get fit, or that are already fit but they want to, they lack motivation, or they lack the community, or they lack something, so they want to kickstart their new results. And what we find out is that if you give someone, the recipe, like a book of recipe, because everybody has in their bio, download the free recipe, or even myself, I always save cool recipe on Instagram, but then I don't do them, So we are full of these recipes book, and then we don't put in the time to do it. So it's easier sometimes to tell them exactly what to. Some people need to know exactly what to eat in order to have results, and exactly what workout to do in order to have results. But that's, of course, from, in my opinion, more from beginners. What we do in our challenges and stuff, we you say accompany people, step by step. There are messages in our Telegram chat, in our that people can read, and they come out from the challenge that they basically know a lot more, and they have, I think, clear ideas of what is going on, why we tell them to do that, why they need to check their calories, why they need to take the steps every day, why they need to drink water. Because once you understand the why, you start doing it. The reason why I wasn't taking care of my nutrition, and nobody explained me the reason why I should have done it, why I wasn't sleeping enough, is that I didn't know that there were consequences maybe on the long run.
Yeah.
Thought about it, and so going back to what you were saying, by the way, yes, for most of the people, I think, taking step by step and having clear step of what they are supposed to do, and have someone. The most important thing I find is they need someone that tell them, hey, did you do it? Hey, did you do it? Hey, did you remind it? Hey, did you remember to? Because then, we get caught up in life and things, and I'm thinking about a mom, right, that is there. She's about to drink their water, but then the kids call, and then they need to do this and they need to do that, and maybe they have a job too, and they say at the end of the day, I didn't drink the water. Well, you can exercise as much as you want, you can eat as many protein as you want, you can sleep as many, but if you don't start with water, with drink, with something that is simple to do but is simple not to do, like, you're already missing on so many gains and so many results that you can have just by doing that little switch, and and starting taking care of that. So again, yes, for sure, you know it's not about only the information, it's about the accountability on taking action about the information.
Yes, the accountability, the little steps that all compound with each other. And again, just being reminded to do it. And going back to what you said about as humans, needing to be told, that struck a chord because not only, as you said, is it imprinted upon us, from schooling and then wanting to do right, but even I think when you get to a point of knowing, I do know this, you kind of at the beginning anyway, sometimes need validation, right? Like I'll be talking to people and we've gone through a workout so many times, and then they'll go, "Is this it?" Yes. Now is this it? Yes. And it's just they're going through the motions and they know what they're doing and they've got it dialed, but it's just you telling them or someone telling them, is this okay? Am I doing it right? So I appreciate the community there because the more that happens, the more you do say yes, the less and less they ask, the more they can take it on and then just continue on this fitness journey, this nutritional journey. And that's one of the things I've found uh, kind of exciting about the online community is when I first got in, it was, at least from my own personal experience, to kind of cut through a lot of the crap and make it fun and digestible. Um, because there was a lot of kind of ridiculous stuff, kind of like the reel I made with the screamer and dreamer. There's people beating you up and you got to kick ass, or people trying to sell you 100 supplements. But conversely, I've found that the community is very, very friendly. They're very uplifting. Meeting people like you, meeting people like Bree, who I just interviewed recently. It's really exciting because not only are we there to help people and lift them up and better their lives. But it's not competitive, right? We're all lifting each other up. So what have you found as far as this social media side of this whole endeavor? As far as everything you've done, and obviously you're involved because you have the coaching business and it's to meet people and potential coaching clientele. But what
Yeah.
have you discovered beyond that you've gotten out of the social media side of things?
So first of all, I love it. I mean, I have, like sometimes you hear, no, it's dangerous, this. I have, to me, it's only white. There's no black on social media. There's nothing bad on social media. Even the bad, for me, it is good. The problem is, of course, of how people, are naive sometimes, or they can't process, they don't have critical thinking. But that's not because of social media. That's the same thing when you watch a TV show or something else. I think that's what is missing, is the critical thinking. You say, wait a second, what they told me is true? Like, am I even thinking about it, or I take it because it was my uncle that told me, and I respect my uncle now. So first of all, I'm really glad that social media exists. Like, again, I started my fitness business 9 years ago, and I started in a completely different way than what I'm doing today, because we were offering classes in the park, free classes in the
Gotcha.
park. That was our catch. I was offering classes in the park, and then they were coming because it was free. And in Italy, we
Right.
like free stuff. I don't know here, and then
It's pretty
from there,
universal.
we have some testimonial at the end of the. I always had a few clients that were coming, like to work out, so they had testimonial. Oh, with this guy, I get to this point. And some of the people that were coming for free, either they weren't coming back the next time, or they were saying, can I have more information? And that's how I started to grow, my first customer. So can you imagine? It was 1 hour of workout, right? 45 minutes, because I was doing HIIT workout. So, it could be really intense for some people. They were not in shape yet. So 1 hour, you need to go to the park. It's not a half an hour. Yeah. Then maybe one day nobody shows up and you are there and you lost 2 hours of your day together with the 12 hours that you're working on another job. So today, for me to press a button and be connected is unbelievable. Can you imagine me fly? You're in California, right?
Uh-huh.
Fly from New York to California just to have, and maybe you tell me, oh, I'm got in an accident. I hope no, but I got in an accident. We can't do the meeting. Like, oh my god.
I flew here.
Right. So, if you were sending me a message 5 minutes before the call, I would probably, okay. And I was sitting at my desk, watching the wall because I had scheduled it. But like, it's so amazing how many people we can reach. Even if you have 500 follower on Instagram, those 500 people, I would never be able to reach them if it was in a live world. And I see, confusion. I see, like, I think us as a fitness figure, as professional in fitness, we are creating the confusion. Why? Because we sell stuff at the end. I am responsible sometimes to create confusion, so I don't want to put the bad. I always take responsibility. I want to sell my stuff, which is the coaching. And so if everything is, at least the accountability part, that I was talking about, which is where really where I'm more involved. It's not that people don't know what to eat, as you were saying, or they don't have the workout. You can go on Google and find workouts, find nutrition stuff, but you need someone that keep you accountable. So of course we are creating confusion because I'm selling my service, someone else is selling his service, someone else is selling his service, someone else is selling his service. And if people wouldn't need that, we wouldn't selling our services. So I always look inside myself, and I said, yes, there is confusion. I am part of it. I'm fine with it in a certain way. I don't go out, and I say crazy things, but still we create curiosity more than a confusion. Let's say like this: we create
Yeah.
curiosity, right? And that curiosity is what allows people, to come close to us and decide in case they trust us to then, buy our stuff, our program, whatever it is, or even just follow us and like our stuff. So I don't see, for me, social media again are completely great. It's a tool, as always, a tool, in the hand of my mentor always say, a pencil in the hand of the Navy SEALs become a lethal weapon, right?
Right.
While Luca or a shotgun in the hands of a little kid, it becomes something really dangerous, right? So, everybody, yesterday I was posting on my story some comment that I get, and I'm
I
sure
saw
that I
that.
don't give, yeah, I am 100% sure that I don't give out those kind of vibes. I'm posting those kind of things not because of me, but because I know that there's people that has value out there, and they are stuck and they're not posting because they are scared about those kind of comments that I posted yesterday. They are scared, of the judgment of other people. So the fitness community, I think, is really great as long as you are a small creators like we are in this moment. But I'm telling you, from now to 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers, so wherever we want to go, we will have so much hate, and so much trolls and so many situations that we better put it already in our mind that it will happen, because it will happen. But I think it's not the fitness. It's every time someone has attention,
Hmm.
the attention catalyze the good and the bad.
And it's
um,
always a vocal minority, right? It's
Absolutely.
it's the small group that is making the most noise, and oftentimes it's just them projecting. You have attention. You are, whether or not it's fitness or something else. By saying that you understand it, they project. Well, I don't need your help. Okay, well then don't watch, right? And so instead of just turning it off or turning away or not following you, they decide to jibber jabber and send you DMs and make a big fuss. So it's ridiculous. But I appreciate that in the same way that you provide accountability, you take accountability, right? As you said, sure, I'm part of the confusion. But ultimately, I think people can relate, and your personality resonates with them, because even if you have something to sell, even if ultimately it's like, hey, this is my coaching that I'm providing, you're genuine. And I think that's what separates the good from the bad. At
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
end of the day, if you're being yourself, we're having conversations like this where it's not like, now tell us about the coaching thing you have and comes on the screen. And, it's just, who are you? Where do you come from? What do you have to offer? Great. And I can go get it from other places, but I want to get it from you.
Yes, absolutely. About the haters, and then we go back to this. It's funny because I always have these uh, personal growth mentors in my head, and Jim Rohn is one of my favorite, and he says something like this: that, like, haters or negative people, they're not that many actually. It's just that they go around a lot. So they
Right.
are everywhere. They're just a few people, but they are able to make so much noise going around and that. But yeah, absolutely, as you say, going back to, as I was telling you, like, I started in one way, and I changed my way of working, and now with social media, and I have a presence in Italy, and I have this account that I now started here in the US, and even social media changed a lot, because even the last few years with COVID and stuff, everything changed because we were perfect. We wanted the perfect guide until a little bit ago, with 100,000 followers and this and that, and only wanted to see the good part, and we only wanted to see the perfect side, no. And now we are switching to a situation where we want to see the normal guy. We want to see. I want to see the bad, behind you. I want to see where you are. I don't need for you to have a background with the pool, or like, I want to see and if you have the pool, I want to see the pool, but I'm saying I want to see everything. I want to see the counter. Like, we have a counter that looks like really old, no. I want to see the reality of me doing the dishes, maybe. And because when you are in fitness and you meal prep, oh, I can tell you how many dishes, how many times I have to reload, the dishwasher. I want to see that, because I can't see you being perfect. And then when you sell me your coaching, or you help me say, but when do you do the dish? When do you do this stuff? When do you go through the normal stuff? How can you afford salmon and this and that every day that costs like a crazy amount of money? How do you do this? How can you go? All these kind of things, I think now people are really aware. I see 10,000 followers, I'm just saying, and then 2 likes or 1 comment. Like, they are aware that those kind of followers, were probably not there because they are real followers. And all these kind of things, I think people become more aware and more aware and more aware. And they want to know if you're using steroids. They don't accept anymore that you are a perfect body, and you say, no, I'm natural, or something like that. And then, of course, you are just like, how to say, a figure, but behind you're fake. And
Right.
and I am not a fitness model. So again, it's nothing against about them. I'm not a fitness model. I'm a coach. So, and I grew a team of coaches. So with some people that I coach how to become a coach, I'm together with, like, they are my best friends. We are together 8 years. We didn't know each other, and then they started the business with me. And some people, we see each other every now and then when we do like fitness events and stuff. So you want to be, sometimes I tell Marsha, I said, if there are not the right vibe with these people, I don't want to work with them. I don't want to even start, like, even with customers. I cannot start with this customer, because what this customer is looking for is not what I sell. It doesn't have my value. They want a quick fix. That's not me. We sell 21 days challenges, right? So we sell results in 21 days, but not with the idea that then you're down for life. It's just a kickstart. It's like to say, okay, focus, because people like to see the light at the end of the tunnel. No, they say, oh my god, I need to do these things forever. No, just do it for a 21 days, and then then you do for another 21 days, then you do for another
Yep.
21 days. But again, I don't want to sell a quick fix. I don't want to tell you, this is the secret. There's no secret. We need to see if what I sell or whatever, I provide is adapt to you, because maybe you are not the right person to do that. I went from running to doing body workout to now being at the gym, but I'm not a bodybuilder. And so, like, what was perfect for me in one moment of my life, because I needed, I didn't have 3 hours to go to the gym. I needed to do something quick. So that the workout, 45 minutes for me, was perfect in that moment. And now that I have a lot of time, I can do a lot of other things, that I couldn't do when I had a career. So sometimes people sell you this diet, or they do something, and then I'm a truck driver. I'm in the truck all
Right.
day long. How am I supposed to cook and do this and do that? And like, people, I have a customer that works 12 hours in a hospital. Like, I don't even think that he has working for machine for people that they are in really bad situation, like reanimation, something like that. He doesn't even like drink water. Yes, I can tell him to drink water, but then he doesn't have the break to go to the bathroom. So all these kind of things, and he loves what he do, so I can't say quit your job. Well, find a way. So all these things need to be taken in consideration, I think, and again, something that is perfect for someone is not good for someone else. Me as a coach, I'm perfect for someone and I'm not good for someone else. You will be great for someone else and will not be good for someone, right? So
Yeah, there is no perfect fix, and I think that's so important. And it kind of goes back to what you said about being ourselves and showing the vulnerable side and the dishes and God, how much gym laundry do we have if you're going and changing multiple times a day? So, in showing that, in showing the reality of what it took us to get where we are, I think is a good indicator of what it genuinely takes. Everyone wants that quick fix. But, if we just show the transformation videos, if I go, look how I used to be, look how I am now, all you need to do is X, Y, and Z, it's not the reality of it. Because I failed over and over and over again. I found I tried eating this way, it didn't work. I would up my cardio way high. Okay, but no, now you need to do resistance training. Finding what works for you requires failing. So failing isn't bad. Failing helps you understand what works and what is eventually at least sustainable. Because whatever you can continue to do is going to be best for you.
and now you were saying something about failing, and maybe it can be helpful for people that will listen to this. And I'm thinking, so I had a moment a few years ago, which was is where I started my last transformation, where like I went from doing fitness because I like to do fitness because I have to for my business. And so I went from training one day with people and then other days for myself to train 2 days a week with other people, then training 3 days a week with big groups of people, 100 people, and then working out for myself. And then when 2020 COVID hit, we transitioned everything online. So I was doing classes every day, waking up at a certain time, which in Italy was a different time. So it
Hmm.
was a mess for me till I got to a point where I said, you know what, I'm not gonna work out anymore. I don't wanna hear it. I will put someone to do it. I don't wanna hear it. I don't wanna work out. Marsha, my wife, is an athlete. She wanted to work out with me. I was telling her, let me, I was so disgusted by fitness and by working out, and I gained, I don't know, probably 20 pounds. I wasn't working out, I wasn't eating healthy. Like I had a moment where I was disgusted by the fitness industry, right? Because it became something that I wasn't enjoying no more. And that's where slowly, really slowly, at a certain point I said, no, I can't do this. I have a responsibility for my customer, because then my customer will only see me from here after.
Yeah.
Because because
Welcome
of course,
back.
right, because I am, like, one of the things that my business did for me is that it keeps me accountable, because I want to be a leader. I want to walk the talk. I don't want to be the person that tells you what to do, and then is doing something else, right? So what it did for me that period, I said, I have responsibility for my customer, for my clients, for my team, for the people that work with me. I'm representing the brand. They are bringing my brand on the market. I'm bringing their brand on the market, because we're working under the same brand. So I said I can't be like that. So slowly I started to go to the gym, really shy, not shy that I was shy, but shy saying, well, I'm gonna do it for a little bit, I'm gonna see, and that's where I started to really love the gym, because I never been in love with lifting weights. Never. It was so boring for me. So I was actually, picking on the people that on the bodybuilder. Oh, look at this guy, they can't even move, they can't even do that. Now I'm almost one of them, because but I need it again, that kind of discipline, that kind of, I need to be by myself, which you're not by yourself in the gym, but you can decide to be. And that's what, so about failing, we were saying so many times, you can,
Burnout.
Yes, and if even if you're a coach, even if you're an athlete, I know I have so many athletes that work with me that, after their career they didn't know what to do. People that went to the Olympic Games and then and now, people that was working out 2 times a day growing up, like kids that were waking up, going to swim, then going to classes, then going to swim again, then study, and day after repeat, repeat, repeat. At a certain
Mm-hmm.
point, they said, "And now what?" Their career is ended, and now what? What do I have to do? And
Right.
so we need to allow ourselves to fail, not using it as an excuse, because then it becomes like the the sustainable thing. I love it. I love the idea. I love the the philosophy. At the same time, sometimes I feel like people will take it as an excuse. Oh no, because it has to be sustainable, that they don't do the things that they need to do. I need balance. Yeah, 3 pizzas a week is not balance. Like, no, but it's balance. Yeah, one bottle of Jack is not balance. Like, don't use the balance of the sustainable way to take forever to get to the point where you feel proud of yourself. I feel sometimes the sustainable, when I hear coaches say, "No, do sustainable," yeah, so that you can sell me 6 months of coaching, instead of
Right.
2 months of coaching. So there's the two things, and of course, again, critical thinking. I think for by the customer side, critical thinking, and for us to remember why we're doing this, that is not only money. At least for me, I'm sure for you too,
Mm-hmm.
that's to take a person and sustain them where maybe they are in a situation where they don't have the information, or they are not able to do something. But for me is, as soon as I can, to let them go, and to be independent and to live that kind of lifestyle. That's my dream, is to take a person that is not, that my dream customer, right, is a person that I just need to put them in the right direction, and then they go by themselves. I don't need to be, the teacher until until they're
Right.
old. Hey.
You don't need to do the sculpting. You can give them the tools and let them do it. Teach them the methods, give them the tools so that they can go on and do a sculpture of their own. And that can be tough, which I think goes back to what we said a long time ago about wanting people to point us in the right direction. Whether you're brand new, whether you want to continue a journey, or what I've found is what, and this was even true for myself, some of the people that have the hardest time getting into a fitness routine or eating right again are actually people that at one point were in great shape and did all the right things and ate correctly. But again, part of it is, even if it's burnout or not burnout, whatever the case may be, you get out of shape, you're not taking care of yourself. And then when you realize, I want to get back to where I was, there's that part of your mind that goes, I could lift this weight. I could run this far. I am capable of this, this, and this. So when you start, you're in this think tank of I can do that, and you're even more let down because you're not at that level. So fighting again, going back to the balance. What can I do? And accepting that it's okay to start at less than where you were. I myself am even doing that recently. I got some tendonitis due to just kind of overuse, and I was like, you know what? I need to fall back on and focus on form for like a couple months. Reduce the weight, increase my reps. It's healing great. I feel better than ever. And as much as we help people, and as much as we have all the tools, sometimes we have to turn inward and go, okay, what do I need to do to grow and expand versus just hitting it, hitting it, hitting it.
And I think, like, then everybody is different, of course, but sometimes I always compare. I love the business and I love fitness, right? And I always compare them because for me they are so similar, right? And it's the same thing, when you get to a certain point in life where you feel comfortable, right? And we had this conversation recently with my wife, because we know that to go where we want to go, we need to get uncomfortable for a little while, maybe see each other a little bit. I will need to work a little bit more. Now, these kind of things that it's better when you have a relationship, when when you're in a marriage, it's better to talk about it. And I feel that sometimes, that when you get to it's easier to get on track if you are really obese or really overweight or really out of shape or really unhealthy, and you get a heart attack and now you need to do it, than to be that average guy, right? And say, oh well, but I can do it when I want, but I can start when I want, but I can do that tomorrow. And the same thing, with the business, like, oh, but I'm making enough money, I'm fine, I don't need to do more, I don't need to go out and make one client more, or sign someone up more, because I'm fine, I'm good. And then maybe something happens, you have a kid with something that needs to go, I don't know, a hospital bill or something, and all of a sudden, you wake up and say, "Wow, I wasn't I wasn't doing that much fun, and now I need to wake up." And history is full of this kind of story in fitness, in business, and again, I like the correlation between the two, But I don't even remember why we were saying this, but you are great to go back. But yes, absolutely. Like, the way that that this works sometimes, is to take a step back. Sometimes I feel, if you are like me, I am full of ego. It's positive sometimes, it's negative some other times. It's entitlement sometimes for some people. No, I know what to do. For me, every time I've been lucky enough, to have people around me, which is the environment that I put myself in, that they are, we don't have filters between each other. They can tell me, hey, do this. No, hey, do this. And I've been lucky enough to always be around mentors, So, because you can sometimes read the label from the outside, right? I mean, you need to be outside to read the label. You can't read the label from the inside. And so sometimes, even if you're a coach, even if you are great, you need to go to someone and say, hey, what am I missing? Like, even the best athlete in the world, they have a coach that is not a half of their greatness in athleticism, but they can tell them, hey, I know you're doing this, you're doing this. And for me, every time they say, hey, how's your routine, what time you're going to sleep to, I say, oh my god. And you want to tell me that if I go to sleep earlier, everything will change? I say, well, look, I always change the other time, so why this time shouldn't be different? And I say, okay, I need to go back to sleep earlier. Like, I wake up at 5, and if you go to sleep at midnight, I mean, on the long run, it's not gonna work, right?
Right.
So you're lacking. So, like, again, I think sometimes we have to have the I don't want to say humble. I don't like the word humble, but to have to be smart enough to let someone else help us. Even if we know,
To not
which is
only
what
ask
we.
for help, to not only ask for help, but to accept constructive criticism if it comes our way. Because it is human nature to go, "Well, you don't tell me what to do. I know what to do," and sure you might, but as you said, and I loved that analogy, I'm totally going to use that. Is you can't read the label from the inside. It doesn't matter how much you know. You could be the best in the world, but you might be doing something out of whack, or because you're so invested in what you're doing, you've let a certain habit start to slide. You need that reminder every now and again, and that's why a community, the accountability, the friendship, just being with other people is so paramount in continuing a journey, just to make sure that you're staying on track, right? I mean, we all have it in us to do it on our own, but even as coaches, it is very important to have someone point us in the right direction. Um, Having
Absolutely.
said that, too, with as much as we're changing and growing, and as you said earlier, social media is constantly changing. Year to year, month to month, even week to week sometimes. What are some fitness goals, and maybe not just with your own physicality, but even with the business that you have for the upcoming year?
So, I start with myself. Um, I'm I'm more training for aesthetics. I'm not training really to lifting weights, and other things. I'm healthy. I'm training to be healthy. I'm training, to move in a certain way. I'm training because I know that I perform better, and I know that everything. If there's one thing that someone says, "Hey, how can I get better at business? How can I get better at sales? How can I get better?" It's go to the gym 1 hour. Like start to take care of yourself because you will perceive yourself in a better way, but people will perceive in a certain way. If you are disciplined in a gym, people will start, okay, I need to close a contract with this guy. I trust this guy because I can see him. I can see how how he's disciplined with himself. It will be disciplined even with me. And so everything starts there. So I want that my body, but not because I want that my body represent a certain brand, which is my value inside. So I'm working on that. Okay, in specifically, I will, in the next probably 4 6 weeks, I will become a lot leaner. I use this, I never did, because of course I wasn't in bodybuilding, so I never did, a bulking and a cutting phase. In the last years I got more into this because I thought, no, you can stay lean forever, which is true, but it's hard to stay lean and getting the amount of muscle that I gain by not staying that lean, right? You can go slower and do it. I had to go faster, so I got a little bit more dirty. I don't know how to say it. And so
Right.
now the next period is cutting. But my wife had a great idea to how do you say, to make me join. She didn't even tell me. She just let me know that we are about to run a half marathon in the next few months. So
Here we
I think
go.
that, and the funny thing is that, so we are in New York, right? So we're gonna run the half marathon, the Brooklyn half marathon, and there is like a lottery or something to get in. I got in, she didn't. So
Oh
that's the funny part. She really wanted to do it, and I wasn't even aware. But so I will go back to running, which is something that I'm not doing at the moment. And one thing that for me is a big goal is to become more flexible. So I'm trying to incorporate, more mobility workout and stuff like that. Also because reading books and doing my own research, but mostly books, is not only about the getting better at performing, but there's a lot of things correlated, with health in general in the mobility workout. So I will try to incorporate that more. For the business, we have a brand that has a mission, and as a statement, our mission is to get 1 million people, so changing 1 million lives through our tools. And of course, I'm not gonna do it that by myself. Okay, we are a lot of coaches under the same umbrella of the same brand. We gather together. But what I'm saying, and that's one of the main goal, the macro goal. Okay, but that's a fraction of that is my goal. So in the next year, we want to get the goal is to get to 1,000 customer per month. That's, like, people maybe we see this video say this guy is crazy. I am a coach, but I am not a trainer. I don't spend my day, and there's nothing wrong to do it, but I understood that I could help more people having a business than being a personal trainer or a coach or a nutritionist or whatever, right? Because the time that someone will spend, say, hell no, put the elbow like this, the chest needs to be like this, move the back this way. With one person, I can do the same with a lot of people while having a business and pay for others to do that. So basically, when I say 1,000 customers, is not me writing, following up with 1,000 customers, but it's a team of people that that's the goal for this year. Um, we had a great period during COVID where we double our amount of customer, and so for
Nice.
people, just for people that, yeah, but there's a but. For people that maybe see us and they say, but these guys, there's ups and downs in fitness, there's ups and downs in business, and we are open to share it. We don't have any, I mean, at least me and my wife have no problem, to, because someone maybe will see this and say, you know what, I wanna do the same thing that these guys are doing. And then maybe they face the truth. No, it's like when you say, I want to have abs like that guy, then you face the truth. Yeah, but you need to cut out maybe some alcohol, you need to cut out oh well, maybe I don't want the abs no more. No.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the business. We had a great period. We didn't understand what was going on during COVID. Everybody was working out at home, especially in Italy, because they couldn't leave the house, and so everybody was signing up with us because they want to work out with us. And then, of course, when something is not normal, usually it comes back to normal. So we had the last years we had few funny moments, and now we are exciting again. Expanding the band more in the US than in Italy. I mean, in Italy is going, but more in the US. So that's the goal. That's a realistic goal for the next year. It's something that we need to work really hard to, of course, because imagine to have 1,000 people that are changing their lives because of you. That's the goal for this year, and then for the next year we will see if we get to the goal. I understood, that I need to take a step, because I'm a dreamer. I can give you numbers and you will say like, what is this guy doing? Because my mind works like that. But then there is a reality. There's people that die, there's people that join, there's people
Hmm. Hey,
there
but
are a
if you
lot of
have big dreams, you have big goals, there's more to achieve. Even if you don't get to the precipice of the goal you set,
yeah,
you at least have gotten a lot further. If you set a teeny itsy bitsy goal here, you're gonna get there and go, okay, what next? Right? You can have short term goals, but if you set that long distance goal, and again, as you said, ultimately it's just to be better. It's for our health and fine tuning the little things, like as you said, mobility. That's my personal goal because it affects everything so much, and it prevents injury, and all your other athleticism and abilities will be that much more increased by increasing your mobility. So,
like
man,
I, I recently, one of the gifts, for Christmas, said that I'm gonna get myself the Aura ring. I don't know if the people will connect it will know what it is, but so I'm tracking down, my breath, my heart rate, my sleep, and so the sleep was one of the first thing that I needed to, go back on track,
fix.
and I'm pretty good with that now. So I said, now that I have that, I can switch on the mobility thing, because and I have a wife that always tell me, I can help you doing this, I can help you doing this, but I need to become as more coachable and accept, the help, and then she tell me what to do, and I say, so again, yeah, that's the next thing to work on for the physical
Definitely.
side.
Nice. Well, Luca, we've been at it for well over an hour, so I just want to again say thank you so very much for doing this. On the screen here, we'll put where you can follow us on Instagram, and then if you're watching this on Instagram, we'll pop in where you can see the full length interview on YouTube. And again, man, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to talk about all this.
No, thank you, for real. It was a pleasure. It's great. We are connected every day anyway, so there would be other occasion, but I really appreciate. And you are an amazing. I'm not getting paid for this, but you are an amazing interviewer, because you were always able. For me, I can speak for hours. You were always able to go back. That's great. You are unbelievable. How we say in Italian? Al bacio.
Well, thank you, buddy. I'm
Thank
just
you.
gonna
See
hit
you.
the